Merry Christmas, family. I love you so much. So this is my Christmas present to you. First, I just want to tour you around the Christmas village that Mom has created with the help of Kim and Grayson and Addison giving me this beautiful Christmas present, us this beautiful Christmas present, and this is the whole Christmas village. And now we're going into the kitchen where we're going to make some homemade Christmas granola for you for your Christmas presents, okay? Guess that's a good spot. And now I'm going to show you, actually wait first, I'm going to take this down and I'm going to show you one of the things I think is the most important thing about cooking is getting prepared in advance by laying out all of the ingredients, because frequently I don't have all the ingredients even though I think I do. So it's good to put them all out on the counter. So here we have all the ingredients for the Christmas granola. We have maple syrup, raisins, salt, pecans, oats, organic unsweetened coconut chips from Trader Joe's, if you can get those, that's good, currants, cinnamon, nutmeg, ground cloves, vanilla, butter, and your measuring instruments, your pots, and here we have the pan lined with parchment paper, okay? Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up the butter. So as you saw, we had a stick of butter and we cut off 2 tablespoons and 2.5 tablespoons, I guess. And now I'm going to put that in the pan. Let me see if I can get this so you can see the pan. Anyway, we put that in the pan, and now we're going to heat the butter up. And so we put the stove onto medium. So we don't want to brown this butter. I do love browned butter, but not for this recipe. So we're going to melt the butter. And then, as the butter is melting, I'm going to measure out the oats. So we want a nice cup full of oats. The butter's almost melted. You have to wait till the butter melts because otherwise the clump of butter will get caught up in the oats and it'll be difficult to get it melted. I like my granola a little bit on the salty side, so I'm using salty butter, and I'm even going to add a little bit of salt, just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in the end. And now that the butter is melted, I turn the stove down to low. And we add all the oats. That's 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups, and 5 cups of oats. And now we're going to add some cinnamon. I also really am way into the spices. I'm going to add an entire teaspoon of cinnamon. That's, whoops. I dropped the bag, but no, I didn't spill. I drop a lot of stuff. And I burn stuff and stuff. Okay, so this is a flattened teaspoon of cinnamon. Sprinkle it over it. We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And that is to taste, obviously. You guys, as you do this more often, you'll come up with your own idea of how spicy you like it. But then I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and even less of clove. Clove is a very strong spice. If you want to add clove, I love it. But you just put a tiny tiny sprinkle. Mine's clumped. Tiny sprinkle. And then we're gonna add a half teaspoon of vanilla, which you pour over there. And now we're going to turn off the stove and we're going to mix it all up. Well coat it. And now we're going to add the maple syrup. So this is again to taste. I like my granola less sweet. And then if I care to add fruit, bananas, honey, depending on if you're using sweetened yogurt or not, you can do all those things individually. But I put 2.5 or 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Syrup. And that seems to sweeten it up just perfectly for me. Great. Now, if you have time while you're cooking, you do little plays. So you have characters, you add different voices to the characters. So, for example, I have some sort of two ladies. There used to be an old TV show called Two Ladies. There's these fat British ladies that cooked. So I do kind of a two ladies thing for myself where I talk like them.
Why are you putting in salt when you already have salted butter?
I like salt. Salt's good for you. I don't see a reason for it. It's already salty enough, and it's granola after all. This isn't popcorn. To each his own, I say. And we added pecans. Whoa. One got underneath the pot. But it's okay because the flame is not on now. And now, after we add the nuts, and I'm going to add a few more nuts. Really, a nut for nuts. And then raisins. I guess I should measure it so you can get an idea. So how about a cup of raisins? These plastic bags are a bit problematic because you dump it out and it all comes flowing out. Okay, so we have this wonderful spice store around the corner where you can get everything in bulk, but you might have a shop near you where you can get things in bulk, maybe a natural food store or someplace, and that makes all of this stuff very cheap. So for example, for the entire spices, nuts, everything that I bought for Christmas gifts, I spent $20 for all of it. So a cup of coconut chips. These coconut chips, ooh, they're really amazing toasted. So we add those in, and then I'm gonna add to this batch a little new idea I have, which is currants. Currants are a bit tartar than raisins. Raisins are very intensely sweet, I think, which is good because you add a nutritious sweetness. But I soaked some currants to give them a little more moisture. And then I'll add a spoonful of them into the mix, which will make it a little bit tangy. I've also put dried cherries in, which is very nice, but I didn't find them at the store today, so we are without them. And now mix it up. Go ahead and use your hands if you have any clumps, like these clumps of raisins. You have to kind of pull them apart. You don't want to have a big old glob of anything in there. And now you taste it. Guys, did I put the salt? Yeah, I did. Monkey! Monkey the dog making an appearance. Woo! Say hi. And now we pour it into the pan. We have this pan with parchment paper. That'll keep it from being messy. And if you're doing like me today, or making double batches, then you don't want to have to clean up the pan every time. So that's very nice. Okay, I'm going to pause it now because I'm dumping it into the pan and then popping it into the oven. You just spread it evenly over the pan. Oh, do you want to see it? I guess maybe you do. Dump in all at once.
Cool.
And here's grandmother making an appearance in the video.
I am.
You should, right? Come say hi. Come here.
Hi. Merry Christmas, you guys. Sorry I'm not doing anything special. Love you.
Alright, now you see, you spread it out in the pan evenly and you pop it into the oven. Every recipe is different. I've found that 320 degrees, baked for 25 minutes works for me. But we time it. We're going to turn the timer on. Germs are good for you. Just kidding, I'm going to wash it. We'll time it so we can stir it halfway through. So the toasted coconut and the nuts and things that are on the top don't get overly browned. Okay? See you in the... Okay, so there are gonna be a couple of corrections in the down below the video in the writing part of the recipe. The temperature I think should be 300 and it should cook for about 25 to 30 minutes depending on your oven, and you should check it halfway through to make sure that you stir it all up and get all of, as you'll see, the little toasted brown granola needs to be pulled away with your spoon from the edges and mixed up so it doesn't get too brown. This is perfect. And then you're going to put it into mason jars, and I think these mason jars are perfect because they're nice and big and hold a lot of granola. I also have small ones that I will use for the dip mix I'm going to make you. And you can get these mason jars for 12, the big ones for $20 from Amazon, and they get shipped to you, so it's very easy, and they're really great for storing stuff, much better than plastic for your health and for the environment, and they're very airtight, so everything stays nice and fresh in there. And then the last thing is I want you to know is that you can make individual fruit cobblers for yourself. So the way you do that is you take a cup of flour, gluten-free for me, put about 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter, depending on how buttery you like it, and about a 1/4 cup of sugar or honey or maple syrup, however you like to make it a little bit sweet. Some cinnamon again into the flour, pour it up in the blender, keep that in a mason jar in the fridge, and then at night when you want a little fruit cobbler, you put some berries in here or cut up apples and mix with cinnamon and again cinnamon and a little bit of salt. And then you take some of the granola, take some of the flour, and mash it up into crumbles. Crumble it on the top, pop it in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes at 350, and then put some whipped cream or some ice cream on top of it, and you have your incredible dessert. It's literally like 5 minutes to put it all together since you have all the ingredients. And that's your lesson for today for Merry Christmas granola. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Bye.